Welcome to the brand new episode of this podcast. Hello. This is episode 11 of the Zoom Out podcast. Thank you so much for stopping by and gracing me with your ears. I can't wait to talk to you guys a little bit. I have a topic that I want to talk about. But first, let's just go over the regular stuff. Hi, my name is Vaughn Baptiste. I am a senior in college right now, and I am using this podcast kind of as a audio diary. Sorry about that. I really appreciate anyone who decided to stop by once again to listen to me ramble for however long this podcast is about to be. But I hope you guys enjoy. This is actually a topic that I've started thinking about quite recently, mainly just because when it came to the certain things in life that kind of like make you believe differently about yourself, sometimes self-worth is something that I start to think about. Even a couple months ago, my mom, because she was doing something for her business, she decided to ask me to write a poem about being worthy. And I'm going to read that to you guys this episode, but we're going to focus on that a little bit later. But yeah, as I was walking over to record this episode, I was thinking about certain things that I wanted to talk about. I reflected back to the self-motivation episode and realized that was like some good information that I kind of wanted to keep going and like think about more. And self-worth is another thing that I actually definitely want to touch on. And with this episode, actually, instead of just doing a quick Google search, I decided to actually do my due diligence and look for an article, so I can get some good information out for you guys. And I actually found a pretty good one. So today, obviously, like I said, I'm going to be talking about a topic that has the power to transform how you basically see yourself and the life that you live. And that's basically cultivating an unconditional self-worth mindset. Now, real quick, I just want you guys to imagine waking up every morning knowing deep down that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. And it's not because like you do a specific thing or you achieve a certain thing, but it's simply because you exist. Just because you are you and you are in this world, you are deserving of being worthy of something. Like, it's not like you deserve to have love, you deserve to have respect, you deserve to have happiness, you deserve many different things. And it's not because you do something for somebody, it's not because of all of these different things. As a human on this world, in my personal opinion, you deserve those things just because you are you. Now, granted, there's people that obviously, we're not talking about the outliers that are terrible people. They might not deserve every single one of those things, but that is basically where I'm getting at. Now, many of us tie our sense of worth to external factors, whether that be our success or appearance or how others perceive us. But this approach will normally leave you vulnerable, constantly chasing validation. And real quick, I just want you guys to imagine a path of feeling whole and worthy, no matter what life throws at you. Now, in this episode, I'm going to go ahead and cover 4 practical steps to help cultivate this powerful sense of unconditional self-worth. But real quick, like I said, I found an actual article to talk about. So let's just acknowledge where this knowledge came from. So the practices that I'm going to be talking about actually are inspired by the work of the psychologist named Dr. Adia Gooden, as she shared an article in the TED Talk Ideas page on cultivating unconditional self-worth, and her insights are going to basically provide a foundation and like the skeleton of recognizing and building the this life skill. So, to get into it, the first thing that I would like to talk about from this article is the introduction of forgiveness. Now, with this first step, it's basically just going to be forgiving yourself. Now, this is going to be very hard for certain people to be able to do because, there's a lot of people with a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of thought behind like, oh, I've done this wrong, that wrong, this wrong, that wrong. And that ends up being something that's going to be like terrible for you in the long run because we're often our hardest critics. We're often our harshest critiques. We're often our harshest critics, carrying guilt and regret like heavy backpacks. But holding on to these emotions actually will keep you stuck forever. So I have 2 key points for this specific topic. And those 2 key points that I took away from this article, or this section of the article rather, were that forgiveness isn't about like excusing the mistakes that you've made. It's about acknowledging them, learning, and then letting go. And then the second one would be when we forgive ourselves, we release the shame and blame that will block you from that self-worth. Now, real quick, just a little quick activity, because that's what I ended up trying to figure out throughout this whole process to kind of give you guys a more of an idea and also kind of give you guys something to chew on even after you finish listening to this episode. Now, real quick, I just want you guys to take a moment and think about a mistake that you've been holding on to. I want you to go ahead and even if you need to, you go ahead and pause the episode and then go find yourself a piece of paper, like a notepad or anything, and then write that mistake down. Something that you've been holding on to for like a solid week. The one thing that you messed up with this week, this year, like, dang, I really messed up on that thing. Write that down on a piece of paper. Now, if you're back and you paused the episode and you came back, now real quick, I want you to, beside what you just wrote down or under however you just wrote that, I want you to go ahead and write what you learned from that experience. Now, like basically the play-by-play, the exact lesson that you learned from it. And then after that, I want you to look at it and understand that is a lesson that you've just learned. And now I want you to go ahead and say to yourself, I forgive myself for this specific thing and I deserve to move forward. Hopefully with that time that I just gave you, you just said it. Because that is the main thing that is going to help you move forward and make it so that you're able to actually go on to the next steps, because forgiving yourself is always the first step. Just like if you're trying to forgive your friend for doing something that they did to mess with y'all friendship or relationship wise, like it's basically just going to be the first stepping stone or this first building block to being able to actually get to the other side of that argument or get to the other side of that issue that you guys had, or that you have with yourself. And like it says, with forgiveness comes a sense of relief and freedom. And that is going to be paramount to you being able to find your self-worth. If you're constantly beating yourself up about the thing that you messed up on, it's not like you're going to feel worse about yourself over and over again. And then there's going to be a part where you're going to believe that, oh, I don't think I'm enough. I don't think I deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to have happiness. I don't deserve to have this job. I don't deserve. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to believe that you don't deserve these things, when the whole time the only thing you really need to do is just forgive yourself for that one mess up and then learn from it and try your hardest to just not do it in that exact same way. There's obviously going to be a trial and error period, but you should still be able to do your due diligence and be able to get past it. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to embracing who you are. Now, the next step is going to be practicing self-acceptance. This means embracing every part of yourself, the good and the less than perfect. It's about recognizing that being human means being flawed. I'm going to say that one more time. It's about recognizing that being human means being flawed, and that's okay. It is perfectly fine to have issues. It is perfectly fine to have things that you need to work on. But the whole point of it is just understanding, like, you just got to work on it. Understand that that's who you are and then work on it. And it's okay to have those problems. Like, you're not a robot. That's the main thing that I'm getting at with that part. Just, you're not a robot. You are not programmed to do this, that, and the third, and you're supposed to be perfectly down the line in this entire thing. That's kind of how that's how humans are. There might be like a specific way that you take things, and you realize that that's not the way you should be taking certain things. Accept that that's the facts, and then try to move on from it. Try to build off of that. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be able to do this. Like, you should be able to be like, okay, I messed up. Okay, there's this thing that I'm working on. I'm going to keep on going. It's not going to work in the first day of me trying. It's not going to work in the first week of me trying. But once I get to that time frame where that's the reality that I'm in, and I've gotten it together, that's going to be the best day of your life. Now, some key points that I found as well. Self-acceptance is not complacency. You can accept yourself as you are, like, while striving for growth. You can accept where you are in your exact moment and still proceed to strive for better. And then the best thing about this whole portion of this, the second key point that I actually found, relates all the way back to a video that I did, and it's the same exact quote from Theodore Roosevelt that says, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Focusing on your unique journey instead of measuring yourself against others. Being able to hone in on your journey, hone in on what you have going on. Don't worry about all these extra distractions. This person going over here getting an award because of this, that, and the third. This person over here getting notoriety because of this, that, and the third. You're going to get there eventually. You just got to get there. That's really all it is. You can't allow yourself to sit there and be like, well, James is over there doing his thing. How am I going to be able to compete when James is over here doing his thing? How am I going to compete when Jaleesa is over there going crazy on this, that, and the third? Like, you're going to have to be able to have that moment where you're like, you know what? I'm in my own little box. I'm in my own little lane. It's like think about it like driving. I don't even have a driver's license yet, but you know what I mean? Like, but you in your own lane. All of y'all have a different destination that you're going to. They might be closer, that you might be a little bit behind, but you still have the opportunity to get to that point. And that's basically the whole point of that. Now, real quick, I want you guys to do me a little favor, right? Humor me real quick. There's going to be just a little exercise, if you guys don't mind. Picture yourself as a young child. Now, think about how you would normally treat this child, with kindness and patience, right? That's how you would normally treat that child. Loving, caring, and all that type of stuff. Now, what if I could tell you that you could treat yourself the exact same way with that exact same grace? If you would not treat your child, or if you would not treat a child in that particular way, why in God's name would you continue to treat yourself that way? Why would you continue to say hateful stuff to yourself? Why would you continue to have yourself compare yourself to every single other person when you would hate if that child did that? Because that would stunt their growth, right? So that's the whole point. It's going to stunt your growth if you keep having that mentality, and that's something that's going to hinder you from your potential. And that's the whole point. Now, when we are able to accept ourselves, we build a foundation of self-worth that has no external criticism that could ever like shake it. There's no external criticism that will ever be able to knock you off that pedestal. You will be able to get further if you just accept yourself and accept the way that you are, and then grow from that. Don't let other people dictate the way you are. Dictate that your damn self. You get what I'm saying? So next, we're going to go ahead and explore how to be there for yourself. Now, I feel like this is a huge one, because there's so many examples of not being able to give yourself some grace. This is kind of like an extent to the last one, but being there for yourself means treating yourself like a trusted friend. When times are rough, self-compassion can be your greatest ally, because normally if you are talking to your friend and they're having a tough time, you would be able to sit there and be like, yeah, I understand that. I get it. Like being compassionate with them, understanding where they're coming from, and then helping them out and being a good friend. Now, self-compassion involves speaking kindly to yourself, especially when you're struggling, because when you're struggling, you are so quick, or at least I'm gonna talk for myself. I am so quick to say so much bad stuff about myself. I'm my harshest critic. I am my hardest critic. I have so many things that I'm terrible at. I have so many things that I'm working on. I have so many things that I'm not working on that I should be working on. But then once I start doing that, it ends up being a lot of self-hate. And being able to have compassion for yourself is going to allow you to get past that. And honestly, engaging in activities that nurture your well-being, whether it's like taking a walk or journaling or even resting or podcasting for that matter, it will probably help you get that little self compassion and be able to clear your mind a little bit. Like, because maybe sometimes that's all you really need. You just got to clear your mind. And that's the most important thing, to be honest with you. Real quick, once again, another exercise. I'm just going to get y'all the exercise. It's going to be a very interactive episode. Let's try a little compassion exercise real quick. Now, real quick, I want you to think about a challenge that you faced. Anything. It could be quite literally anything that you are dealing with. Now, I want you to go ahead and write that down. You can write it on the same piece of paper that I told you before. Write down what you'd say to comfort a friend in that situation. And once you find that out, I want you to put that sticky note literally on your mirror and say those exact same words to yourself from here on out. For every single day you're still dealing with that issue, do that. Understand what you would say to a friend if they're dealing with the same thing, and apply that to yourself. Because I feel like it's a little hypocritical for you to be able to say it to your friend and not be able to say it to yourself. So you gotta lock in, yo. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. By being there for yourself, you create an inner support system, and that is the main thing that you need when it comes to being able to move forward in certain situations. And that's really all you need. So next, we can talk about the power of relationships. We are social beings. The people we surround ourselves with profoundly influence our own sense of worth. Connecting with supportive individuals is the most essential thing you could do. Seek out relationships that uplift and affirm you, not things that are going to drain your energy or make you feel small. Surround yourself with people that are going to build you up, not break you down. Surround yourself with people that are going to listen to your podcast and be like, you know what, man, you going crazy. Do your thing, dude. Or if it could be to a lesser extent, you playing the game and somebody is sitting there and like, hey, man, you doing good. I even did that to like a Penny Parker, because I've been playing the absolute crap out of Marvel Rivals. I was doing that to a Penny Parker and just saying, let's go. You going great. You doing great. Let's go. Like, it was just something that happened. But like, you get what I'm saying. It's just something that's going to be able to help you out and make it so that you're able to just do your thing, man. That's really what it is. Just do your thing. And then also being vulnerable and open with trusted people allows for deeper and more meaningful connections. And I feel like with your closest friends, that is where you do that. You have those people that you can talk to about anything, and that's going to be very beneficial for you in the future. And it's just going to be something that is going to allow you to actually have somebody there for you. And I feel like that's going to be something that is always going to help you no matter what. Now, real quick, I just want you to think about somebody that makes you feel very valued and supportive. And then I want you to try to figure out how they show that. Like, do they give you positive reinforcement when it comes to certain situations that you're dealing with? Do they give you insight on how to fix those types of situations? Do they validate your feelings during a situation that you're dealing with, whether that be relationship wise or otherwise? And just how exactly do they show that level of value and support system as well? And then now I want you to consider how you can cultivate more relationships like that in your life. How can you surround yourself with more people in that vein, if you get what I'm trying to say? Now, when we are surrounded by supportive people, it normally reinforces our belief that we are worthy just as we are. And there's no need for any other thought processes in that vein. Just a little recap. We just went over 4 different steps to cultivate unconditional self-worth. That was forgiving yourself, which is going to be very, very essential for you moving forward. Being able to just allow yourself forgiveness, give yourself some grace when it comes to certain situations, practicing self-acceptance. Don't try to compare yourself to other people. Be yourself and understand where you are in your life and move on from there. Being there for yourself. Understand that if somebody else is going to sit there and value the way that you think and sit there and be able to explain to you what's going on and be able to even say, like, I understand, like, you're valued and you're understood. Do that for yourself and make sure that you are able to pick yourself up. I know there's going to be great for other people, and that's the 4th one that we talked about, connecting with supportive people. There's going to be those people that are going to be there for you, but they can't really be there for you if you aren't there for yourself. And I need for everyone who's listening to this podcast episode to believe, or no, not to believe, but to think in that way, or at least try to. It's not going to work. Like I said, not going to work the first time, second time, third time, but on that 50th try, probably you just got to get past 30. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, the final one was connecting with supportive people, just finding the good friends that you have, finding the good family members that you have that can always talk to you about certain things. And then, confide in them on certain topics and stuff like that. Now, each step is going to be a building block to a more grounded and resilient sense of self. Now, real quick, I just want you guys to remember, self-worth isn't a destination. It's a practice. Start small. Forgive yourself for one thing. If there's something that you've been stuck on, forgive yourself for that one thing. Accept that one part of yourself that you're trying to work on. Show yourself kindness at least once a day. Look in the mirror and say to yourself that you're doing good, you're trying your best, you're on a right path, and you will get there. And then seek people or connections that are going to nourish your soul. Seek out people that are going to be there for you when you need it. And that's really the way to go about it when it comes to these different things. I just want to end off this topic by saying you are worthy. And it's not because of what you do or how others see you. It's simply because you are worthy. Embracing that truth is always going to help your life transform into something completely different and be able to actually get yourself out of whatever rut you're in. And then also just allow yourself some room to grow. You guys, like, putting yourself in such a small box and you're trying to squeeze yourself into that specific thing is not going to work for you. You got to grow that box. You have to get to a point where you're allowing yourself some room to grow. Like, you guys, like, to understand what I'm saying, the only way I can think about it is when there's a newborn baby and they're in the hospital and they're in their swaddle. They're all cooped up in that blanket and they are very, very confined and able to and just kind of sitting there, just all squished up, just cozy, ready for the baby to go to sleep, right? Basically, what I am saying is allow yourself to get out of that swaddle. Allow yourself to be able to stretch a little bit. Stretch your left, stretch your right, stretch your left, right, legs, all that. Give yourself some room to grow. It's going to take time. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be next week. It might be next year. It might be 5 years from now, but you will get to that point. You just have to allow yourself to get there. And that is the main thing that I want you guys to take away from this episode. With that, and as a close, I just want you guys to be left with this poem, because I remember at the beginning of the episode, I was talking about that I had a poem that I actually thought about when it came to this topic. And this is a poem that I made. Let's see specifically when. I made this at the beginning of the year last year, 2023. January 18th is when I wrote it. And this is a poem that I look back to a couple times throughout the year and just kind of reassess myself, just to give myself some time to realize I am worthy of getting to where I need to be. I have the ability to get there. I just have to push myself, and I have trouble with that still. A lot of trouble. If you're listening to this and you know me, that you already know that's a fact. But here's the poem. I am enough. A glass half full. On days that I feel like I'm not doing the utmost, days where I feel like nothing, I look up at God and I ask him to cover me in his grace. The mirror will always show you the cracks in your perfect, the bumps on your beautiful. But in reality, those cracks make you human. Those bumps show the beauty you hold inside of you. I am enough. I am enough for God. I am enough for my family. I am enough for greatness. And I am enough for me. And you are enough for yourself. And I want you guys to go ahead and write down that, just those words, I am enough, on a piece of paper, sticky note, whatever. And I want you every morning before you go outside and go to work or anything like that, look at that note. Look at that note, read it to yourself a couple times. Because from what I remember, repetition is always going to be the thing that makes a certain thing stick with you. And since I've been talking for quite a while, I just want to say, thank you guys so much for stopping by and listening to me, listening to these tips, and just getting to the point where you can say certain things to yourself that are going to help you. I didn't really think that this whole podcast would be like a motivational thing, but it's motivated me to do a lot of creative things. I've even done some other stuff as well that have helped me out with being creative. And I just truly believe that this is going to be something that I enjoy for the rest of my life doing. And I really hope I continue. So if you are struggling with finding your self-worth, I'm hoping that you guys listening to this podcast episode helped you guys a little bit. I'm hoping that it gave you guys some tips. You have, at least if you did write whatever I was talking about on there, like hopefully you're able to look at that every single day and be able to, I don't know, just gradually build that self-worth and end up 2-3 years from now feeling like the world can't touch you. And that's the main goal at this point. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast. My name is Vaughn Baptiste. The next episode will be probably not about self-worth or anything, but it's going to definitely be about another thing that I enjoy, which is always keeping creating. That's one thing that I've always thought is something that is needed. But yeah, we'll get into that topic when we get to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know for a fact I enjoyed giving this information. And yeah, hope y'all guys have a great night. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.